Let's add some dynamics to our text with some motion. So I have Davinci started, a new project started, and I just have this winter picture in here. And that's all I have. So we will add a text title, text plus, just because you a little more control over it. 5 seconds text title. And let's go change our text. We will call this Snowscapes. And you can pick whatever font you would like. I kind of like this one. But you can pick whatever you would like. I'm going to have it blue. And I'm going to give him an outline just to let him stand out a bit. And the easy way to do that is to come over here to your shading tab. Over here, click number 2. And it says red outline. It's standard red, but you can change the color however you want. Turn him on. And I will make it yellow just to make it stand out. And there we have our text. Looking pretty decent. So, the easiest and most simple way to have this move is to have it zoom in and zoom out. Easiest way to do that, come over here to this settings tab, come down here to dynamic zoom, and just turn it on. You notice that it got a little bit bigger. Now if I play this, you will see it zoom in. These two controls right here take you to the next edit, first edit. We only have 2 edits, beginning and end. So that will take us to the beginning and end. Now, if you wanted that to go the other direction, if you come over here and actually click on the words dynamic zoom, you will get this open and you can click this swap. And then if you play it, it will go the other direction. It will come out instead of in. Very simple, very easy. Easiest way to make something move. To reset this, because we're going to turn this off, we want it to reset it back to normal or to defaults. Just click that right there. We'll collapse him and turn him off. Simple dynamic zoom. Very, very, very simple. Okay, so we'll come back up to our title tab over here. And you will see we have some other tabs here. This is how we're going to pick what we're going to change. Now, one of the most popular is what we call right on, right off. That is at the bottom of this text panel here. So if I scroll down, you will see right on, right off. If I grab one of these ends right here and move, you'll see how it writes on, writes off. So to create a simple right on effect, as this video clip plays, we'll bring this end over to here. So now it's not on there at all, and we are at the very beginning of our clip. We're actually going to set a keyframe by clicking this little button right here, this little diamond out here on the end. This will set a keyframe. Set the keyframe on. Now we'll come over here to the end of our clip. And we will move this over so that it writes on. And you notice that our keyframe came on. It was off when we started, came on when we started moving. Now, if we go back to the beginning and hit play, we get our title written on. Very, very, very simple. To reset any of this stuff, if it doesn't have the little reset wheel, just double click on the letters. And now it's back. Reset, everything is back to normal. That's right on. Very, very, very simple stuff. And you also just learned how to do a keyframe. create a horizontal scroll. Click on the Layout tab. In the center, X and Y is what will let us do horizontal and vertical scrolls. So the horizontal scroll is the X coordinates. So left click and hold the left mouse button down in this box, and then drag your text just off the screen, and then release. Playhead at the beginning of your clip. Set your first keyframe. Now, our last keyframe can be over here somewhere, right back towards the end. Now, same thing. Left click, hold. The cursor will hopefully wrap around the screen. Sometimes it takes a couple tries. And we'll go to the other side and release. That sets your second keyframe for you automatically. So now when we play, it scrolls right across the screen for you. And the same thing with your vertical scroll, which would be your Y coordinate. Same thing. If you want to do that, that's how you do scrolling. Now let's look at some other things that we could animate that are just kind of normal things. Within this same Layout tab, you could animate your rotation. And I'll just show what these do real quick. So you could have it spin in, spin out, rotate, spin that way. On the Transform tab, the Layout tab is going to pretty much affect the whole thing. If you come over to the Transform tab, it defaults to characters here, and this will make each character move. So same idea here. Now that appears to be the same, but you notice this is spinning from the bottom, whereas in the Layout tab, it's spun from the middle of the letters. So just some things that you can, rotate each letter. Have them spin that way each letter. Just some things that you can move. Again, this is pretty much limited by your imagination, and you can have multiple things happen at the same time. You can keyframe a scroll in and then keyframe a zoom in. There's all kinds of things, and you can just play pretty much till your heart's content, and you can play until you have something made you think looks good, but you just want to try one more thing. You have to get to a point where you learn to kind of accept what you have and go on. If you want to come back later and play, fine. When you're working in your project, get it to the point where you want it for your project, and then learn to say, okay, that's good. Just some tips. That goes with pretty much any project you're working on your computer, whether it's programming, editing, or anything. So those are all the different things. And then just to kind of recap how you make things move, I'll go back over here to the text, and I'll just make a move. So what you do is you set your starting point where you want it to start moving or start your animation. I'm just going to use size because it's easy. Mark your keyframe. Come to your end where you want it to stop the animation or the motion, and set your size. That is how you create your motion. That is just simple keyframing without getting into Fusion, just doing simple things. So now if I come back to the beginning and play this, it did our simple animation. I hope you'd enjoy these videos. I hope this made some semblance of sense. Keyframing can be kind of confusing at times. If you're doing simple stuff, you can do it in Davinci without getting deeply into Fusion. Now, if you do it in Fusion, you have some more control over it. but again, it becomes much more complicated. But here you can just create some custom motions with your text to give your videos something just slightly different.